All right. It's Friday night. Yes. Give me 30 seconds. All right. Yes. Yes. Oh, man. Woo. Yes, it is. Oh, man. I'm very, very, very excited. Very, very, very excited here. Man, it's Friday night and I get to talk football. Friday night and I get to talk football. I'm very, very excited about this. Full disclosure, I didn't get a chance to watch as much preseason football as I would have liked. I really didn't get a chance to watch as much preseason football as I would have liked, but I have 3 teams that I've been impressed with, 3 teams that I'm kind of concerned about. And the 3 teams I'm impressed with, one of the teams I have some concerns about, and one of the teams I've been impressed with aren't teams I actually got to watch. It's more things I've been hearing about on social media, some stats. There's a lot of football going on right now. There's a lot of football this preseason I'm going to check out. I'm really excited about it. And, hey, look, the NFL season's right around the corner. If you've been checking out my videos, I have some really good betting advice. There's some good teams I'm going to bet on. And also, I'm very lucky because I live in Kansas where they're doing sports betting, but there are some kinks in it. So if you're in the Kansas City area, you're going to do sports betting in Kansas. Some of the things I was talking to a buddy of mine earlier, and he said that kind of echoed what I've been hearing is that sports books aren't set up yet. I have a plan for that. But I'm not going to go into too much detail, but I am going to show you all my bets that I'm going to make for the yearly over-unders. And I have some week 1 action I will be putting down as well. And I show you my wins. I show you my losses, fully transparent with everything I do, because some channels just talk. I actually walk the walk. I have my predictions, and I let you know what they are. All right. I'm going to start off with 3 teams that I have some concerns about for preseason. And the first team I'm going to go over, I actually haven't watched play, but it's the Dallas Cowboys. I'm going to talk about Denver here in a little bit. Denver Gator, yeah, man. Let's go football. Denver Gator, I cannot tell you how jacked up I am. I'm very glad to see you. I want to talk to you after the show. There's something I don't want to post publicly that I do want to talk to you about. So after the show's over, I'm going to hit you up because I got something I want to go over with you. But the Dallas Cowboys, I didn't watch Dallas and Denver. I didn't watch that game, and I meant to. I have it on my DVR. But for those of you that don't know, the Cowboys had 17 penalties in this game. So I broke down the Dallas Cowboys, and when I broke down the Dallas Cowboys, I didn't have a problem with the team itself. When I gave my 3 dislikes, it was more the organization, the penalties. Mike McCarthy, when you go from 6 wins to 12 wins, you win the NFC East. Normally it's a good thing, but there's more talk about Sean Payton arriving in 2023, which I think will happen. I think Sean Payton will take over as a head coach of the Dallas Cowboys in 2023. And 17 penalties is just massive. Bottom line, I mean, this is a team that could win 10 to 12 games. They were 12-5 last year. And Mike McCarthy could get fired. And I think that part of the reason that he could get fired is that this is going to be a sloppy team. This is going to be what he did in Green Bay is kind of going to echo what I think he's going to happen, or what I think is going to happen in Dallas. I think you're going to have a good offense. I think you're going to have a decent defense, but I think that this is a team that's going to struggle in the playoffs. I'll be honest. Also, I kind of like the Eagles to win the division. I'm not 100% sold on the Eagles, but I do like the Eagles to win the division. So you have the Cowboys that are a talented team with high expectations. 17 penalties in a preseason game when you had 14 penalties in the playoff loss against San Francisco, a team that I think that you were more talented than. I think that they had more talent than the 49ers. You're at home, and maybe if it was best out of 3, best out of 5, you win that playoff series. But man, I have to think that needed to be a focus point for this team, and then to come out in the first preseason game and have 17 penalties, I think it's a big red flag. And keep in mind, this is a team that could make the playoffs. But, man, they're a team that so far a big red flag on. And full disclosure, I didn't get a chance to watch the Cowboys Broncos playoff or preseason game. I have it on my DVR. I have all the preseason games on DVR. All the preseason games on DVR. What's up? Pat's offense looks brutal. That's another team I didn't get a chance to watch. They're not one of my 3 teams. I'm not too concerned about the Patriots offense in preseason. The reason why is I know that I'm using some of my experience with the Kansas City Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs, I know for a fact during the preseason, they do no motion, no shifting. And so then in the regular season, you see something that's completely different. I think you're going to see something similar with New England. With Matty P. All right. So here's what I heard is that he's going to be coaching he's the offensive line coach, and he's going to help with the offense. They don't really have an offensive coordinator. They have like a couple different guys. It's kind of been the Patriots' way on defense for the last couple of years. They've used different guys. Offensively, of course, they had, I'm 8 minutes into the show and I already forgot the guy's name. He took over as the Raiders offensive coordinator, Josh McDaniels. That's the name I was saying. Josh McDaniels. But I think this is actually a good sign. I'm going to bring in, Alex and Corey. Hopefully I can get them and Keys to join me Wednesday before the NFL season. And with Alex, he's a Patriots super fan. I'm going to have him kind of go over this. But I'm glad you brought it up, man. One Pride, man. It's great to see you, man. Great to see you. Out of 3 teams I have an issue with, that is not Patriots are not one of them. Not Patriots. Not. The next 2 teams are a game I watched earlier today, and I've watched a lot of football in my life. Normally, I would pause to put a lot into a preseason game, but there were so many things not to like in this game that I'm telling you right now, I don't see a way that these 2 teams are good, and that's the Chicago Bears and the Seattle Seahawks. On the Chicago Bears side, it was funny. I did a video about the Chicago Bears, and I was like, "Oh, there's no way the 5th round rookie. I think I can't think of his name. I know he's out like southern Utah or I think it's southern Illinois. Oh, he's not really going to start because our lads had him starting, and he's the starting left tackle. And then, oh God, what was another name freeze at 10 minutes? I feel so bad. I shouldn't have this many name freezes. But the guy who was going to start at left tackle last year, the kid out of Oklahoma State, I was really high on him. Funk was really high on him too, One Pride. They were going to put him on the right side. Now they moved him inside the guard. So he was the left tackle, right tackle. Now he's playing guard. I'm drawing a complete blank on his name. You know, I'm going to look it up real fast. I'm very embarrassed. I should know this because he was a player that I was talking about quite a bit. And then he's a guy I really liked. He's a guy I really liked coming out of college too. Tevin Jenkins. Okay, sorry about that. So you had Tevin Jenkins, who was going to be the left tackle, which I thought was a big mistake last year. Now they moved him to the right tackle, and then they had him inside a guard, and they have a rookie 5th-round pick at left tackle. I don't remember who it was they had at right tackle, but the starting offensive line looked bad. There's a difference between it's hard to see, but it's there's a big difference between a defense looking good and an offense looking bad. And the Bears starting unit looked bad. I think you're going to see Justin Fields running quite a bit. And they brought up something about Matt Eberflus, and the defense was constantly running to the ball. They were trying to create turnovers, but I didn't. I mean, that's a good thing. Don't get me wrong, but the Bears had a good defense last year. That's not an issue I see with the Chicago Bears. This offensive line looks abysmal. There's some people in the gambling community I really respect. One guy in particular, I put 1,000 on under 7. I don't know what the number is. I haven't looked, but the Bears I think are just going to be a bad team. In Seattle, what they did against the Bears, they started Charles Cross, and I forget the guy's name on the right side, 2 rookies on the left and right side. And I think the rookies are going to be just fine, but Drew Lock, who I thought should win the quarterback job, he was the number 2 guy, and then he got COVID. And Geno Smith did not. I feel bad because I remember in 2013 there was a lot of talk that Geno Smith should be the number 1 pick. Most of you Chiefs fans wanted Geno Smith to be the number 1 pick. He is not a starting caliber NFL quarterback, and he's got 2 tackles. Now Seattle didn't play. I think DK Metcalf got the dress and look at the field. There was a clip of him complaining about wanting to play a little more, and you know what? I apologize, One Pride, because I didn't get a chance to see your boy play. But I'm telling you right now, Seattle's going to be a bad team. I think Chicago's going to be a bad team. And what I saw from them playing in preseason, it kind of justifies that. So, Slasher, what's up, man? Yo, what's up, Dan? Man, I am pumped up for the season and what I am seeing from camp. You should be. You should be. They're not one of the 3 teams. They're not one of the 3 teams that I'm pumped up for, but I really kind of like what the Eagles did this offseason. They're now, keep in mind, they're going from a 9-win team, and Dallas is a 12-win team. And be honest, those 3 games are it's a pretty big thing. But when I'm looking, I'm gonna adjust my camera here. When I look at the NFC East, I like Philly to win it. I really, really do. I really think Philly is the team that you really got to watch out for in the NFC East. They're a team I think that got significantly better. Dallas has talent. I mean, don't get me wrong. If Dallas doesn't have injuries, the ball bounces their way. Trayvon Diggs gets 11 picks again, and they had 5 pick sixes last year. I mean, if all that stuff, Micah Parsons continued to improve, yeah, they can win 12, 13 games. But man, when you have 17 penalties and you had 14 in the playoffs last year and a loss, I mean, that's a red flag. Not one of the 3 teams that I got marked, but I did. I mean, I'm just saying this, man. I didn't get any credit for Hutchinson going to Detroit. I mean, I called it right away. I was like, I said it from the very beginning. I said it back in February. You know this. I called Hutchinson going there. You wanted a player with a very high floor. And that was more important than a guy with some upside. There's lots of Lions fans wanting Kyle Hamilton. And by the way, if you're one of those Lions fans who want Kyle Hamilton, you're kind of I haven't gotten any credit, by the way, One Pride. I haven't gotten any credit by saying Hutchinson's going to be the guy. You're going to like this kid. And he was the guy. You're going to like this kid. Against the Bears, yeah. Yeah, I mean, a 5th round pick. I don't care how good he looked. If your plan is, we got a 5th round pick, we're gonna start him at left tackle with with Justin Fields, who's basically a rookie quarterback. That's a recipe for disaster. I don't like betting on rookie head coaches, but I'm really kind of. Man, I should have got action under 7. I should have got action under 7. I got my phone here. I'm not going to do it, but yeah. Yo, Denver Gator. Hope all is well. Sucks you guys lost. I'm going to be honest. I didn't know about this. Patrick Surtain is lost. I didn't know this. The guy, Brandon Johnson, looks good. He's been turning heads a little bit. I'm embarrassed. I didn't know Patrick Surtain is gone. So I didn't know that. So it's kind of embarrassed because Denver is one of the teams I was looking at. Jordan Matillia is not moving against Hutchinson. That's going to be a fun matchup. That's going to be a very fun. Okay, Tim Patrick. Okay, yeah, I knew about Tim Patrick. Okay, all right. So I saw Patrick, and okay, yeah, I knew about Tim Patrick. Okay, all right, good. I will. I'm gonna talk about this in just a moment, Denver Gator. But that's going to be a fun matchup. Week 1. That's going to be an interesting game. With the area that I'm in, I'm in the Kansas City area. The way I watch the games is the Chiefs are going to play in an afternoon game, so they're going to have 2 noon games, and the red zone. More than likely, Eagles-Lions is not going to be one of those games week 1. I'm hoping that the NFL Network replays it because that's a game I do want to watch, and I really want to see that matchup. Another thing is I need to see Detroit. I really hope that they move Hutchinson all over the line. I want to see him do different things, especially, because he's like a quote-unquote outside linebacker. I want to see him move around. I really want to see him move around. That's going to be a good game. Denver Gator giving some love here, man. Yeah. And both Eagles and Lions fans should be very, very happy. So a little love from One Pride here. Slasher, you sure about that? He just beat Jake Matthews. Yeah. Matillia is better than Matthews. No bias here. Honestly, statistically, he's the top 5 left tackle in the league. Just doesn't get his praise yet. One thing I have done is I thought I watched every episode of the Top 100, but I missed 80 through 71. I think it's 80 through 71. That's the one episode I missed. I have them all on DVR. I pay attention to it. I also really like hearing what the other players, like who the NFL Network gets to talk about the guys. and some like one thing I've noticed is that like a veteran player, Cam Jordan, for example, that's on the list that gets bumped down significantly. I always wonder if that's if that's indicative that his play is significantly dropped off, or if it's just due to other factors. Because one thing about the Pro Bowl, it's become more of a popularity contest. And with the top 100 list, I wonder how much of it's a popularity contest and how much of it is players that like are just completely honest. Because it's for those of you that don't know, the way the top 100 list is composed is they give every NFL player a list, just top 20. And there was one player, and I wish I remembered this, and I wish I copied it that way I could repeat it word for word, is that what they do is that they one guy said a lot of things that what they do is like, I think this guy was he was a running back or receiver, so he puts himself at number one. And then like the top 10 receivers, and then like some other guys, but it's not really a legit 1 through 20 list. But you put like the top 10 guys in their position group because they want their position group to get ranked up a little higher. And I'm almost positive it was a receiver. So like it's not exactly a fair list, but I'm always curious. And then like Rashawn Slater, left tackle from the Chargers, he made the list. There's a couple of Kansas City Chiefs offensive linemen I thought that might make the list. But Trey Smith, who, if he did make the list, he was going to make it as a guard. He would have to make it in like he would have already made it by now. He would have to make it 90s and 80s. There's a slight chance Creed Humphrey as a rookie center is in the top 50. But I don't think so. But I do pay attention to the top 100 list. Matilia, I'll probably butcher that. I'm almost positive he's not on the list, but next year he very well could be. Probably deserves to be on the list, to be perfectly honest. Probably deserves it. So Johnson is impressive so far. Hoping Virgil and Johnson to hit and make the squad. I'm glad you're kind of sharing that. So I'm going to share 3 teams I like, and I'm going to start number 1 with the Denver Broncos. I didn't have a chance to watch Broncos Cowboys. So you're going to say, Dan, you're going to tell me that a team you didn't even watch impresses, but because it's not just Denver Gator, it's not just national media. It's little things I'm hearing about the defense. I made no secret that I think that Denver Broncos fans are going to be very disappointed in their team. And I also thought for a while that there's a very good chance that Denver finishes dead last in the AFC West. Now I'm not really sure because you don't really know what you're getting out of the offense. There was an interesting article on NFL.com, and this was, by the way, this is a big mistake. Melvin Gordon said he thought that he was kind of being phased out of the offense. Well, he wasn't signed till later on, and he's going to be the number 2 guy. He's going to be the number 2 guy, and this is something that, he needs to learn to deal with. But it's kind of funny how you see this with NFL players. You see this with NFL players where they don't really understand. They really don't understand that they're not the guy. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Simmons at 81, I was kind of surprised. I was really surprised at Simmons at 81. I'm a Chiefs fan, but I mean Simmons should be much higher. And Russell at 61. Again, he's liked, and they have I always wonder, but there's certain things I do take from the list. Rashawn Slater, for example. Him being on the list, it was important. Trey Hendrickson, he's a guy who deserves to be on the list. Cameron Jordan, him dropping I was kind of paying attention to, because he's a player I like, but and he went to the Pro Bowl, which of course Pro Bowl I don't take very serious, but I did have 11.5 sacks. He's strong against the run, but I'm wondering, is this a guy who's really a Pro Bowl caliber player anymore? So Slater's a top 5 right tackle in my opinion. Actually, he plays left. And he stepped in as a rookie, played really, really well last year. Played really well. And I was kind of surprised. I mean, don't get me wrong, being in LA, you're in a major media market, but the Chargers were not a playoff team. So I was wondering how much credit would he get? And yeah, he made the list, deserved it. Justin Tucker, I'm not saying he's not a top 100 player. I just wasn't sure if he was going to make the list. I was kind of surprised that he made the list. Kind of surprised. So no, he plays on the left side. They draft him, just plug and play on the left side, man. Yeah, it's Charger. It's kind of funny because the Chargers have had some really good luck at certain position groups. I mean, the quarterback's obvious. I thought there was a comment, I forget where I saw it, at Keenan Allen. I was talking about Justin Herbert, and he was saying that Phillip Rivers didn't stay after the play catch. He didn't stay after practice, throw the ball around. Of course, Phillip Rivers has 14 kids, but I mean, they're talking. It's kind of funny, like the hype on Justin Herbert is pretty high. It's pretty high, but I mean, he's a damn good player, man. He's a damn good player. But yeah, Slater on the left side, real solid player, deserves to be on the list. I wasn't sure he'd get on, but he does. So, side note, did you see no suspension for Alvin Kamara? Yes, I did. And actually, that's part of the reason why. Yeah. God damn it, the pick's going to be. They got Slater, I want to say 10 or 12. But yeah. So I know, yeah, the Saints are one of the teams that I'm going to talk about. But to talk about Denver, I'm just going to go over. I know you don't really care about the Denver Broncos, Denver Gator, but Baron Browning's on the outside. Nick Bonito was impressive. Of course, they signed Randy Gregory. Bradley Chubb's one of my favorite players. I absolutely loved him coming out of NC State. But you have a defense, and they were number 3 in scoring defense last year. The defense is going to take a step back. All right. I mean, I've been saying that. But when you got multiple guys that are impressive as pass rushers, it's something that you got to take a look at. It's something you got to take a look at. And I'm not really sure what the offense is going to do. I personally think that they should be more of a run-heavy team, and I don't think they're going to do that. But there was an article in the NFL where Melvin Gordon said that, like, he felt like they really want Javonte Adams, and it was kind of like, I'm not getting a chance. But I mean, you're not supposed to be the guy, and he's not really aware that he's in the number 2 role because he thinks he's a number 1 running back, and he probably could be, but not on the Denver Broncos. And this is a team that should be a run-heavy team, and I think that they're going to be more of a pass-heavy team. So I'm not really sure that that's really going to work for them, but I'm going to tell you this, that like everything I'm hearing about the defense is really, really impressive and scary. So this is a great question. Does Will Anderson Jr. from Alabama go number 1? I'm going to say no. And the reason why I'm going to say that is because more than likely it's going to be a quarterback. More than likely, it's going to be a quarterback. I think his name's Will Lewis, the Kentucky quarterback, the guy I was telling you about, who I really respect on social media and gambling. He put $1,000 on. He got 40-1 odds on Will Lewis being the number 1 pick in the draft. And if he goes through not injured, he's going to have a chance. C.J. Stroud could also go number 1. He's actually CJ Stroud is probably my Heisman favorite. I think there's a very good chance Ohio State goes undefeated this year. I don't know if they win the national championship, but they're just as talented as Alabama. Those are probably my two top teams. Georgia just lost so much in the draft, and I'm not sure they're in reload. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, they got tons of talent. There's a lot of talent at Texas A&M. I'm curious to see what Clemson can do. Michigan State, Penn State. Actually, to be honest, that Big Ten East is going to have four teams. I'm not talking a whole division. I'm just talking the Big Ten East is going to have four teams in the top 20 when the season starts. And the Alex Van Dyke, the kid out of Miami, I watched him play, and I'm like, oh my God. I watched him for just a couple of minutes. I'm like, oh my God, this is definitely a first rounder. And then I'm drawing a complete blank on the Alabama quarterback. I saw a mock draft where he goes in the top 5, but he's got to put on some weight. So the answer is right off the top of my head, no, because I really think that the first 2 or 3 picks in the draft are going to go quarterback. It could go the top 4 quarterbacks. And how long has it been since the linebackers went number 1? To tell you the truth, I'm trying to think of the last time a linebacker went number 1 because he's an outside linebacker, you're an edge rusher. There's a very good chance. But I really think that because of all the quarterbacks that are coming out, I really think it's going to be quarterback 1, 2, maybe 3. Funk, man, what's up, brother? Will Anderson. I think it's well, but anyway, could go 1. Depends on how bad whoever picks number 1 gets a quarterback, gets offered by a team that needs a quarterback. Okay, great point, Funk. And here's the thing. I think that, let's say you're Jacksonville. Jacksonville didn't. You know what? Trayvon Walker was, outside linebacker. How long have it been? This year? Yeah. But Trayvon Walker. So yeah. Here's the thing with this draft. I think that, let's just say Jacksonville picks number 1 again. All right. I mean, they're obviously not going to take Anderson, but the differences between this year and last year is that there's more quarterbacks, and there's more quarterbacks that are going to be highly rated. Stroud, Lewis, Alex Van Dyke, the kid from Alabama. All 4 of those guys could go number 1. And I think that there's going to be more teams that are going to have draft capital to trade up to number 1. So you have, for example, Detroit. They got 2 draft picks in the first round. I'm drawing a blank if the Giants have 2 first-round picks. I know they got some extra draft capital, but I mean, you have several teams with multiple first-round picks and multiple draft capital in this draft that I don't think Will Anderson's going to go 1, but does he go top 5 barring injury? 100%. Yeah. And Alex Van Dyke, by the way, is right in there. Alex Van Dyke has crazy arm talent, and the ACC is not that strong. The ACC is not that strong. I mean, he could go 10-2. Now, keep in mind the coach that they brought in comes from Oregon. I think it's Mario Cristobal. I'm drawing a blank on the name, but at Oregon, they ran an offense where the quarterback runs a lot, and if they have that type of offense, his production may go down. But I watched him play last year, and I'm like, this is definitely a a first-round pick. Where he goes in the first round has a lot to do with external factors. Crystal ball, what kind of talent he's bringing in. But I also think that in the ACC, like, I mean, don't get me wrong, if the University of Miami goes 7-5, it may look bad on Alex Van Dyke. And if they want him to run an offense where he's running the ball a lot, he could look really bad. So, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I drew a blank too, man, and it's a bust. Oh God, my nose is itching. All right. I thought it was going to be Evan Neal. I actually went into the draft saying it's going to be Evan Neal. Then it kept on more and more talk about Walker, and I'm like, no. And then they signed Cam Robinson to a 3-year deal right before the draft. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe it is Walker. And it's funny because I think Josh Allen's actually better. I really do. I really think. But Allen Walker, yeah. Jacksonville picks one again. They would F it up. If Jacksonville has the first pick in the draft, if they have the first pick in the draft, I can almost guarantee you they're going to trade it. I was too, man. I to be honest, there's still a large part of me that thinks that maybe they should have gone Evan Neal, put him on the right side. And we'll find out this year because I think that's what the Giants are doing. I think it's just plug and play on the right side, and me and you are going to watch. And it wouldn't surprise me if we're talking in February, Funk, and we're both like, man, they should have drafted Neal. Ike Ekwonu is going to be a starting left tackle on Carolina. Dustin hasn't joined in a while. I'd love to hear from Dustin. Love to hear from Dustin what he thinks. But Ekwonu is he's starting left tackle, and I think on the right side he would be a monster. Actually, to tell you the truth, I think that if you put him at guard, he could just be an absolute beast. But after watching his footwork, he ended up being like my number one guy. But I was still liking Neal because he played guard, right tackle, left tackle, and I thought that would be a great move because if they couldn't get Robinson, they couldn't get Robinson, sign a long-term deal. They signed a 3-year deal, but still, I mean, you can move him after 1 or 2. So Van Dyke and the other Florida school kid will get some pop in his arm. He changed his name or nickname. Doesn't want to go by AR-15 anymore. And by the way, I think that's. By the way, I love that nickname. I thought it was one of the best nicknames I've heard in a while. But by the way, it's a smart move by the kid because he's trying to generate Heisman hype, and it's smart. As far as him being an NFL prospect, I'm not sure he's an NFL quarterback prospect. He's on the NFL radar. AR-15, but I think he may be on NFL radar to play another position. But with some of these running quarterbacks, if he does something really really different and he has a lot more passing success, then it's a possibility. AR-15 and the kid from Arkansas. The quarterback from Arkansas. If you haven't seen him play, he's a lot of fun. He's like 6'2", 240. He's going to play linebacker, fullback, running back in the NFL, but he's a lot of fun to watch too. This guy won't be considered first round, but watch for Will Rogers at Mississippi State. He'll probably throw. Yeah, any quarterback in that offense probably going to have 5,000. I'm going to try. I say this every year, but I'm going to try to watch more college football. I got it programmed. Okay. You know what? That's a lie. I don't have it programmed. But I am going to DVR several games, and I want to watch a lot more college football this year. I say it every year, but I think there's legitimately, I mean, right now, and by the way, there's always a player who kind of jumps out of nowhere to be a first round pick as far as quarterbacks are concerned. But there's 4 right now, and then you have somebody like Will Rogers, who I haven't watched play yet. But he'll probably throw for 5,000 yards. Oh God, I'm drawing a blank on his name. He was a 3-year starter for Herm Edwards in Arizona State, transferred to LSU. Not going to be a first round pick because he's I think listed at 175 and looks skinnier. But he has talent. He's a guy that can put on the NFL 20 in college, has athleticism and arm talent. He may be a nice 3rd, 4th round prospect. Dak Prescott was a 4th round pick out of Mississippi State. So I really don't like Walker. He has such a raw talent on deep Georgia defense. They will have more guys to go in the first round again. Got tongue-tied, sorry. Go in the first round. Again, this draft too, he's going to have to carry the Jags. It won't work. It's funny that front 7 Jacksonville has is going to be pretty impressive. Josh Allen, when he's healthy, actually, I think has more talent. Doesn't have the same size. I mean, the size speed combination was off the chart, like over 270 and ran a 4.5. But the one thing about Walker is that if you watch them play, he doesn't have a natural bend. He's not a natural pass rusher. So I think that Jacksonville's looking at a double-digit sack guy. He's not really that guy. To tell you the truth, he's really a guy that's going to be really good. You don't draft a guy number 1 as an outside linebacker or edge player and say, hey, stuff to run. But that's really what he's going to be best doing in the NFL, is being a run stuffer. And it wouldn't surprise me if he has a good season and has 60 tackles, 5 sacks, and then Josh Allen has double-digit sacks on the other side, and people talking about Josh Allen being better. He's going to get more sacks, and I think he is a better player. Walker's a guy I think that's just going to be much better at stuffing the run. And if Jacksonville manages that, but I mean, it's kind of hard, but put yourself in his perspective. You're number 1 pick in the draft, and if you get 5 sacks, you're going to hear bust, 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 but you may be doing exactly what they're doing. Or, and this would be a complete shit show, you try to set it up where he's doing things he's not real. That's a really aren't his strength. He's not a terrible pass rusher. He's just not a natural pass rusher. Watch for compare and contrast. Watch Jermaine Johnson, and then watch Trayvon Walker, and forget the measurables. Just watch them play, and you're gonna say, oh, Jermaine Johnson's easily a better player because he's got the bend, he's got the explosiveness. I mean, Walker's just one of those guys that, as far as a pure pass rusher, he's not really that guy. So, yeah, I was too. And, Ike Ekwonu, that was my number 1 pick. I liked Evan Neal just because I thought Evan Neal was more day 1 ready as a right tackle. And that's kind of what I thought what they should do is that you have my energy drink here. Okay. I thought the Jacksonville Neal made more sense because he played from guard to right tackle to left tackle. And I thought that even after the Cam Robinson deal, which it's a 3-year deal, but you can let him go after 2. So you put Neal on the right side, then move him over to the left side. I don't like that when teams do that, but I thought for Jacksonville it could work. And right tackle is a weak spot. So Ike Ekwonu at guard or right tackle, I also like that. Now Ike Ekwonu was my number 1 player. I the more I watched him, the more I just had a massive man crush on him. You don't see a guy with footwork like that, but he's a little more raw. Now at Carolina, he's going to be a starting left tackle, but if you put him on the right side at Jacksonville, I'm like, oh my God. And remember, they also have the kid from Travis Etienne. So, like, they could be a much more improved running team. So, yeah, I 100% see where you're getting at. I think with Walker, if I'm Jacksonville, here's how I manage the situation, because I agree with you, Funk. I want Josh Allen to be my number one pass rusher, and I want Walker to stuff the run, but I need somebody to talk to this kid to make sure he doesn't get too down, because when you're number one pick in the draft and you don't get a ton of sacks, Hutchinson's probably going to have 3 to 5 more sacks than Walker, maybe even more. And you're going to have to hear this constantly. Oh, we should have took Hutchinson, but so, like, you have to make sure he doesn't get in his head. So anyway, kind of ranted too much from that. Yes, last year. Yeah, that Georgia. And by the way, the best player on that Georgia defense was Jordan Davis. I know Luke G thought he was more of a zero technique. I'm like, this guy isn't a zero technique. He's got the size of a zero technique, but he moves like a 3-tech. And that's why I kind of like him in Philly. I think he can do a variety of different things. So, yeah. Denver Gator is a huge, huge LSU fan. So, yeah. Losing Miles Jack. Well, they signed, I can't pronounce his name, but Foy Unga something or other. They signed the guy from Atlanta who led the NFL in tackles. I don't think it's going to be that big of a loss. They signed him it was like a 3-year, $50 million deal. And I think that's going to be a decent replacement. But I do think that Miles Jack going to Pittsburgh could have a monster season. I think those two linebackers that they have in Pittsburgh could have monster years. And I think Miles Jack just needed to get the hell out of Jacksonville. I think he's, like, extremely happy. And I've seen this before. Players leave a team that's not doing that well. They go to Pittsburgh, and then their career just goes on the upswing. It wouldn't surprise me if Miles Jack's like a all-pro candidate this year. But they got that Foy Olin Bingo or something like that. And led the NFL in tackles, 192 tackles last year. So they're not going to miss him that much. But with Jacksonville, you have another new defensive scheme. It'll be interesting to see what happens in Jacksonville. Yeah, talented player. I expect him to do very, very, very well. I expect him to do very, very well in Pittsburgh. Keys, man, what's up, brother? Good evening, Dan Showers, not growers. All right, man. Keys, God, it's probably not the right place. So anyway, so what happened is I was doing the Bills video at 9. It was like 12:20, and I hop on my phone, and I'm like, man, I'm gonna check out, and there's no show. So anyway, I probably should have mentioned that off the air, but man, God, as soon as you join, my nose starts itching. So yeah. Anyway, I was really disappointed. I was all jacked up. So I probably shouldn't have said anything. How much Coke? I have my energy drink here. I'm going to let you know right now, like, this has been a very, very long week. I didn't have a chance to watch near as much preseason football as I would have liked. But, yeah, and I got like over half a can of energy drink. So, man, God, my nose is really itching. Have an off the radar signing prediction. QB Huntley goes to the Browns, just cut by the Ravens. Possibility. I was just reading this right before I went on the air. Is Jacoby Brissett is going to be. They're just going to roll with Jacoby Brissett. They're more than happy with Brissett. Brissett is a pretty damn good quarterback. He's an excellent backup quarterback, and I think he'll do just fine. Could Huntley go to Cleveland? Yeah, he could. I didn't know he was cut by the Ravens. I'm not surprised by that. The kid out of Utah, I'm hold on here. I'm a little embarrassed about this, but I want to make sure I got my players right. You're not talking about Tyler Huntley. He's the kid from Utah, right? He's the kid from Utah. You're talking about the kid Huntley that was a UCLA kid. I'm drawing a blank here. I want to make sure I have this right. I want to make sure I have that right. Okay, I'm on ESPN, and it's not the backup quarterback. It's the kid that was in Green Bay, right? That's the guy. I'm just making sure. Hey, what are the numbers on Alex Pierce for Offensive Rookie of the Year and Boy Mafe for Defensive Rookie of the Year? Both of those are solid, kind of long shots, especially Mafe, guy I really like. Okay, Slasher. Funk, I haven't looked on Caesars or Barstool, but I haven't forgot about the Hawkinson numbers. I think that they're going to be available for next show. Also, I know I follow you now on Twitter. If I don't have those numbers on the next show, let me know. If you're curious about this next week, because I'm keeping tabs on Hutchinson or TJ Hutchinson, Hawkinson. I'll get that word out. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and if you're still curious about this, I'll see what we can find out. But really, he was cut. The backup. Wow. I'm floored. To be honest, I didn't know it. I didn't know. What the hell is Baltimore doing at the backup quarterbacks? Because Huntley played quite a bit. I'm on ESPN right now, and I don't see it on ESPN. I'm not doubting you, but I wasn't aware. That's a major surprise. Because I know that Trace McSorley is in Arizona, and I think that's a great move for Arizona because he's like a super poor man's Kyler Murray. Wow, I'm floored. I had no idea, and he's a guy that I think is he's a guy that's going to make an NFL roster. I have to think there's a salary cap issue. As far as this, if you're still concerned about this, like this is something you're going to put a bet on, hit me up and I'll shoot you some numbers from different places. I've been reluctant to use DraftKings. I actually just got something in the mail from Penn National Gaming. It's I tell you the truth, I should have brought it and showed it to you. It's kind of cool what they have. It's like a Bet US online package deal. They sent me a nice pamphlet with all 32 teams schedules, like some other information in there. It's really, really cool. But yeah. If you're thinking about putting a bet on this plus Hawkinson, I'll get some numbers for you before the season starts. I'm not saying Slasher's wrong about this, but this is something that you're thinking about betting on. I'll see if I can get you some different numbers and kind of an idea of what to look for. Alex, all right. Excuse me. Out of these two, I'm going to be honest with you. I like Mafe more than I like Pierce. And the reason why I say that is I think Mafe could be the number one edge rusher. Pierce, I don't think it's going to be the number one receiver. I think it's going to be Michael Pittman. And then keep in mind, even though I think that they could throw the ball a lot more, I don't see him being like a number one guy. God, excuse me. Slasher, no, I didn't, but I've seen him in that interview telling everyone there's only one snap. Oh, wait a minute. Jordan Davis, baby, did you see a picture of 3 Jets linemen holding him back? No, I didn't. No, I didn't. But this was a guy, I thought this was the best player on the Georgia defense. This is a guy I had a major man crush on. And if you're going to use a 3-4, I'm quoting 3-4, 3-4-4-3 hybrid, or you're going to try to use that 3-3-5 defense, Jordan Davis is the perfect guy because like he could play inside. He could actually play a 5 technique. I actually think his best position is a 5 technique, not a 0 technique. And I still think that if you use an even front, you could actually put him as a 3 tech. I don't want to use him like that a lot, but if I'm playing a run-heavy team, hell yeah, I'm lining up for defensive lineman. Just stick his fat ass up there. You put Fletcher Cox on the opposite side, and you're good. You're not running against that team. And then you got some, guys on the outside. This is kind of reason why I'm really high on Philly is that this is a guy, because remember they signed Hassan Reddick, a double-digit sack guy, so he already added to the pass rush. So when you add to the pass rush and you get a guy who's legit 340, you can do a lot of different things. But no, I didn't see this. No, I didn't see that. I'm still floored by this. Of all the, if this is, I'm going to assume it's true. I'm really kind of curious because I got the Ravens depth, or I did. I'm looking at the Ravens depth chart, and Huntley's still number 2. They had Anthony Brown as a number 3. That's not a bad player, but man, I'm really surprised about that. No, I didn't. By seeing him in that interview about telling everyone there's only 1 snap, and they didn't see the ones where Jordan lost, and that's something. Slasher I was referring to when he was pushing back the center. It was against our backup center, Cam Jurgens. And that's another thing is I love the Cam Jurgens pick, but ideally he doesn't play at all this year. Seriously, that's not a bad bet at all. I like Mafe, and it wouldn't surprise me if you it wouldn't surprise me if he's the number 1 pass rusher, gets double-digit sacks. That's not a bad idea. Very small amount, but yeah. That's actually who sent me the pamphlet. It's from Penn National Gaming. But yeah, I got like it was kind of weird because I opened up my mailbox and it's a real thick thing. It's really cool what they sent. So they have like a neat promotion. So they sent me a nice little pamphlet. So, I meant to actually, I was going to have it here, but anyway, long story short, anyway, I don't have it, but they sent me something. Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, they have this neat little promotion. I haven't signed up for it yet, so I can't vouch for it, but I thought it was really cool. Penn National Gaming to mail me some stuff. So. Yeah, send it. Actually, if you don't mind, send it to me too. So $50 to make 3K. I'm going to end up if you can burn $50, do it. That because I think it's solid. I would put a 20 on it myself. I'm not a good I hate urging you against it. But there are some other guys that but I mean I really like Mafe because I think he's going to be put in a situation where he's going to get a lot of sacks. All right. I think he's going to be put in a situation where he gets a lot of sacks. That's kind of like my thought process. I like I said, don't. There's other bets that you can make. I don't hate it. Yeah, but they're I haven't used them. I've never used Bet US, by the way, but they did send me something. They're associated Penn National Gaming. It's kind of funny because they do. It's funny. They have Argosy Casino here and Ameristar in Council Bluffs, but Ameristar here is not associated with them. So it's kind of funny, but I do like both those casinos. So. Slasher's a clip of Hutchinson blowing by an Indy offensive tackle, and people are all getting excited. Dude's a third stringer. Preseason can get annoying. Yeah. Oh shit! I didn't know Kelsey was hurt. So yeah. Oh, dude, my boy Tim, man, what's up, son? Great show. I'll be at Arrowhead tomorrow for the preseason game, going with my buddy and his boys. Go Chiefs! Dude, that's awesome. You know what? Tim, I've known you for so long. I keep forgetting that you've never met my sister or her husband. And I was going to say you should, but you've never met my sister. So I met Ryan. I met Ryan. He actually follows me on social media. So yeah, I'm sorry, man. I've never introduced you to my sister, but yeah, my sister will be there too. So I will not be there. But man, thanks for the love, Tim, man. I really appreciate it. Oh man. Yeah. Do not forget to subscribe and share. Come back after the show and leave a comment. Help Dan grow the channel. This is something I need to do more of. Kind of asking you guys to give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up. And also make sure that you share the channel. Give me some love. My goal is to get to 800. I actually lost some subscribers. I'll be honest. I think some of the stuff I said about Deshawn Watson turned some people off, and I think some people unsubscribed. But that's okay. That's okay. But yeah, yes, thank you, Denver Gator, man. I appreciate it because me and you had a conversation. I said I was going to do this, and I'm 1 hour into the show, and I have not even done it yet. So, Funky just beat Jake Matthews. Dude, I'm telling you guys. In February, when I told you guys Hutchinson was going to be the pick, you guys wanted to argue with me. You wanted Kyle Hamilton, and I'm not getting credit from Lions fans for calling this in February. No credit at all. I do get reminded that I thought Stafford would go for a second rounder. I still get reminded by that, but I'm not getting any credit for Hutchinson in February and telling you guys you would like him. But Denver Gator, he's getting served. Okay. This is stuff I should know. I remember this, Funk. I remember this. Okay. All right. I'm not really sure how to word this, so it's not mean. But the worst thing that happened to you at a casino, I was a blackjack dealer for years. The very worst thing that happened to you your first time at a casino is that you win. Because when you win, you think it's going to happen over and over and over and over again. This was not a bad pick. This was not a bad move. I'm a huge Bates fan. The problem is the one time you hit, you think that you're just going to hit over and over and over again, and you go for longer and longer and longer long shots. And so I'm happy. I always want people to win. I love it when people come on here and they talk about bets that they hit, and it's a great thing. But when you go after long shots because you hit this one, what I'm worried about is I don't want to see you put 50 on Mafe and then put 50 on a long shot parlay, and in week 2 of the NFL season put down Boy Mafe over 1.5 sacks at plus 3,000. And in a couple months from now, that 500 that you made, 50 at plus 500, that'd be 250, right? All right. So let's just say 250. All right. I don't want to see you up 250 by the Super Bowl, and in week 3 into the season, you're down 100, because I've seen this at as a blackjack dealer so many times, where somebody would come in and like, oh, I've never been to a casino before, and they'd play blackjack and they wouldn't know what the fuck to do, and they would win, $100 or $200, and then they'd come back the next couple of weeks and they'd be down 1,000. So like, I'm not being discouraging. I'm not being discouraging. Just a little caution. I don't want to see you hit this and then blow all of it on long shots, because there's going to be a lot of bets during the regular season with over unders. The yearly win totals that if you've been watching my videos, so you know that there's some good action on a handful of teams, and then during the season, I'm going to have some weekly picks, and I'm trying to get a segment. I'm actually trying to work something out with Denver Gator about like a weekly pick segment too, because he's going to put some action down too. So yeah, I it's okay. How's the Big Bertha? It's funny because I'm not saying when, but I'm heading back to Council Bluffs, and it was I was telling my mom this. It was like every girl there weighs like 225, and God, I hope that one of you guys watching didn't get your wife from Council Bluffs. So, but yeah, I'm going to Council Bluffs, and like every girl there must eat butter at birth or something. It's crazy. Yeah, I saw he's not even starting. Yeah. You were right about this, because I was blown away. I actually thought it would be a second or third round pick, and you said 2 first, and you couldn't be more right. And hopefully Detroit really takes advantage of that. So I didn't want to argue about getting him in favor of anyone else. I still worry that Hutch will be to Ryan Kerrigan and won't live up to the hype. You have a good point. By the way, Ryan Kerrigan retired with 100 sacks or like 90 sacks. Didn't have a terrible career. But yeah, this is a guy just never was elite, but he was pretty good. But I think the one thing that you will see is by the end of this year and by the end of the next 3 years is that I think he'll definitely be a better player than Trayvon Walker. And I think there's a good chance that Walker may have been the pick if Hutchinson went 1. There's also a good chance that if Hutchinson went number 1 instead of Walker, the Lions would have traded back. But I will say this: I think you guys are going to like Hutchinson. I think Hutchinson's going to outperform Walker, especially sacks. It seriously wouldn't surprise me if Walker has 5 sacks and Hutchinson has 10, and you guys are kind of looking at Jacksonville. I'm like, yeah, good job. So, yeah, I've been saying it since February. I never got any love there. So. But seriously, I said it for months. I was like, 1 Pride 40, you homer, you're wrong. There's no way you're getting 2 number ones for. So I have to eat it. I can't sit here and just brag about that one time I was right when I was so wrong about Stafford. So Dan, I have a limit to how much I spend a year. Once I'm spent, I'm done. I'm not that guy who runs an ATM. Matter of fact, that's always a smart move. Here's the deal. Let me give you the pros and cons here. If you're the guy who doesn't take plastic to the casino, that's a good thing. But are you the guy who, if you do take plastic to the casino, you run to the ATM? Because it was funny. I was just at a casino and there was a line in front of the ATM. And by the way, I have used an ATM at a casino before. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I've never done it. It's been over 12 years, but there's like a $10 fee attached to whatever your bank charges you, right? So, by the way, I have used an ATM at a casino. I'm not saying I've never done it, but if you don't have enough discipline not to use your plastic, or to you have to spend every dollar, then don't ever go to a casino. And I say that because I've seen so many people that when they get on a losing streak have to bet every single dollar. let's say you're going to go to a casino and spend $100, right? Like just hypothetical amount. I like taking 200, and this is going to sound really nuts. I never leave a casino. Okay, I've done it before in the past, but like last 10 years, I always leave a casino with money in my pocket because I know up here I have enough discipline that I'm not. By the way, I've used my ATM, I've used my debit card. I've never broke out my credit cards. I have God, how do I say this and not sound like a dick? I have 3 or 4 high limit credit cards with like no balance. When I say high limit, over 5 figures. So like I could, if I wanted to, I could, withdraw 10,000 easy. Not saying this to brag. It's just anyway. But like I could take. Yeah. So anyway, I have a credit card. I think it's a 15,000 limit that I use for everything. And it's right now I have a little bit on it, but I usually keep that as zero balance. All right. And then I have another one's got like 22, another one's got 10. Those usually just, but part of being a disciplined gambler is that I always leave with money in my pocket, and it's just a mental thing. So. Okay, my rant. Now I don't know where the fuck that rant came from. It's the energy drink. Not the girls I date. if you have a 2, if you're dating a girl and she's ever had a 2 in her weight, you do not date that girl. Actually, we got 3 rookies balling this year. The Rodriguez kid, I'm kind of surprised about. Hutchinson, and then who's the third guy that you're really pumped up about? Kerrigan was solid. Love to have him here, but no one will ever argue he was worth a number. No. You know what? I know you're right. I mean, you could say you can go back in NFL history and say like, well, he was better than this number 2 pick. But I mean, when you talk about a number 2 pick, that's an edge rusher, the number, I mean, Lawrence Taylor, number 2 pick in the draft out of North Carolina, was he better than, was he better than George Rogers? George Rogers didn't have a terrible NFL career, but yeah. The best bet is, yeah. I didn't say a third though, so I was wrong on that part. No, but we were like, we were both on opposite ends of the spectrum, and you were much closer than I was. So I mean, yeah. Not really a big deal because, all right, Nakobe Dean may not play week 1, not a big deal. And here's why: your 2 starting linebackers, Kazir White and I forgot the other guy's name, both signed 1-year contracts. Going into the draft, the Eagles. This is just my opinion. I can't speak for the Eagles staff, but I think they had no interest in getting a linebacker because they signed 2 linebackers to 1-year deals, and they also invested a lot of money on the outside. So and then you also have a lot of money on that defensive line. So you got to cut corners somewhere. So I think the idea was, Kazir White, a 1-year, $5 million deal. Like that's a steal. But I think that when he was available in the 3rd round, or like there was a lot of teams that probably had him as a 1st-round talent, a mid-1st-round talent. So I think that you had to go ahead and get him. But I don't think that Nakobe Dean was in the Eagles' plan to be more than a special teams player and a spot starter year 1. I think year 2 he needs to put on the NFL 20, and he'll take over as one of the spots, and then either Kazir White or the other guy, I'm drawing a blank on his name, I think will need to be signed to a long-term deal. Kazir White, I can't tell you what a steal that was, a 1-year, $5 million deal. I think whoever his agent we'll probably tell him after this season, if he has the same type of season he had last year with the Chargers, we'll probably get him on a 3-year, $25-30 million deal. He's a really good player, really good player. I think he'll come in a little late, like 3 and 4. And you know what the best part is about Nakobe Dean? He doesn't even have to play this year, and you're gonna have a good player, real good player. Hutch, Kirby. All right, you know what? I watched a little bit of Atlanta and Detroit, and Kirby didn't. I watched. Maybe I should watch more. But all right. We got 5 starters in this draft class, and you gave it a D. I don't think I gave it a D. No, I gave him a C-. I gave him a C-. And if you have 5 starters in this draft for this year, you're not going to have a good team. Kirby Joseph's a guy who's going to start. Hold on, I'm sorry. All right. Kirby Joseph's going to start. Okay, that's a little Malcolm Rodriguez and Aiden Hutchinson. All 3 of these guys are going to start. I still don't like Jameson Williams' pick because he's not going to play for a while, and you could have had somebody more ready for somebody could contributed more in OTAs, but Kirby Joseph, no, I didn't like that pick because he had like a 5th round grade. You could have got him in the 4th round. You didn't have a 4th round pick. So Lou's prediction was even worse than yours. He said a 3rd. Yeah. I thought that was fair. I really did. You got 5 starters. That's not a good thing. That's really not a good thing. Malcolm Rodriguez as your starting linebacker in the 6th round. Now, I mean, don't get me wrong. If you got a guy who's a perennial Pro Bowler in the 6th round, great. And I did like that pick. Don't get me wrong. I watched a lot of him play at Oklahoma State. I just never thought he was a first team NFL player. I thought he was more like a sub package special teams guy. Kirby Joseph, I didn't like that pick. Hutchinson, I, of course, liked. The trade up for Jameson Williams, even though you got excellent compensation, I thought that was a bad move. So I've taken it before, never used it. I watched people go stupid, so much to the point that when I was 20 and a buddy went to Canada a lot, my brother hit him from the line from Vegas Vacation when the Weasley dealer tells Clark, I have an idea. Let's just go back and you can give me half my money. I can kick you in the balls. We just call it the day. Oh, yeah. Dude, I've seen some. I seriously, I seriously, I could tell you so many stories from being a blackjack dealer and going to the casino, like you would not believe it. There was one time I was playing blackjack not too long ago, and this girl went to the ATM 4 times. It was fun. Like me and the dealer, and there was one regular, and it was kind of funny because he's gotten in trouble because he rubs people the wrong way, and he's just kind of that guy. He just speaks his mind. Really good guy. Really like the guy. He's complained about me, but I don't care. And he also knows I don't give a shit. I play the way I play. He plays the way he plays. And, but if you do something stupid, he says it and he has no problem but anyway, he's been kicked out. Real good guy. But like me, him and the dealer are like, this girl needs to, seriously, it was just great. She was just losing her ass. She didn't know how to play. Anyway. That's what I thought. Yeah, I thought it was the kid from UCLA. Yeah. Let me tell you something about John Dorsey. John Dorsey, one of the things he was so good at in Kansas City was finding picks later in the draft. And I've always said this. The 1st round is for show, but the 3rd through 5th round is where teams, for dough. Let's just make it rhyme. one's for show, 3 for 5's for dough. But you really need to draft in those middle rounds, and that's something Dorsey was really good at. His first draft in Kansas City, a 3rd-round pick was Travis Kelce. In the 5th round, ended up getting Tyreek Hill. There are so many starters John Dorsey got late in the draft. And you're 100% right, is that your draft 2 years ago, I love that draft. This one I didn't like that much, but I mean, if some of these players make the team, James Houston, Chase Lucas, I pulled up your draft. These guys make the team. Your James Mitchell pick probably won't start, but if he contributes at all, that's a good pick. If Joseph ends up being a much better player than I thought he was, I didn't really like him that much. And I really didn't like him in the 3rd round. Joshua Pascal had no business going at 46, but yeah, you're right. I mean, if JMO, you know what, if you get a starter in the 6th round, absolutely. But yeah, it's not a good thing. Kirby will see a decent amount of time. They plan on doing the 3 safety thing a lot. Elliott Walker, and then who knows, Melifanu. The safety room is not deep. I thought Melifanu they were going to use as a corner. Keep in mind they got Mike Hughes from Kansas City. You can play a good nickel. You also got Okuda. But if you're going to move him to safety, I actually kind of like that. Got to got the athleticism. So. I think when Elliott's will be done, it'll be Iffy, Walker, and Kirby. So you're all right. I kind of just don't want to sit here and talk the Lions the whole time, but I am curious. Hold on, give me a second here. I'm going to bring up our lad's depth chart. All right, I'm going to bring up. Let me ask you this here. So I'm bringing up our lads here. So you're going to play a base nickel with 3 safeties. So our lad has 3 corners. So I don't think our lads is right. All right. So I don't. Okay. So let me ask you this here. Okuda's on one side. Oyuwari, he's on the other side. All right. Melifanu, Walker, Elliott, that's your starters. And then you're going to go with I always get his name wrong, but I want to call him Anals. Nalazone, Alex Anelzone, the guy from the Saints, and Rodriguez as your 2 starting linebackers. That's what you're going to do. I'm kind of disappointed Barnes wasn't able to step up, but yeah. Is that what you guys are going to do? Just curious. Dallas Goedert is a guy. By the way, he's not a Darren Waller, Travis Kelce type guy, but he's a plus athlete. Should have a big year. I expect A.J. Brown to be the number 1 guy, but Dallas Goedert, really, really good player. Funk, you liked the draft, didn't you? I'm the guy when I see someone bitching about people not knowing how to play blackjack, I'll split 7 or 6 just to watch. Sometimes you're supposed to. It's okay. So I played not too long ago. I'm at $15 minimum. And 3 kids, they had to be carded. They obviously had to be carded, come in, and they bought in. One kid bought in for 25, and then the other one bought in for 40. And I'm like, so I just I pulled my bet off and I gave dealer the wave, and they had no idea. Like, it was their first time coming into a casino, and I was kind of a dick to these guys, but I was really excited because I was playing 1-on-1, and I like playing 1-on-1, and these 2 guys had no idea what to do, And you buy in for $25 at a $15 minimum table. I mean, all you're going to do is just slow the game up. I like playing a pretty fast. I'm a former dealer, so like I can deal and I can play in my sleep, and I like to play pretty quickly. So some asshole who comes in on $15 table buys in for $25 just pisses me off. And he lost his first hand, so he had to buy in some more. And they didn't know what to do. They did in Kansas City. You got to use hand signals. You know they don't listen to. They don't have to listen to you. Just give me a hand signal. And they had to tell them this a couple of times. Maybe they were drinking, maybe they weren't. But yeah, I'm not the friendliest person to play with on the table, and it's mainly because I like playing one-on-one. But I'm also somebody who's been a dealer for many, many years and who's played a lot. So if you come on my table but this, I'm going to tell you a secret. This is a little blackjack secret that almost nobody knows, but it really doesn't matter if the person playing next to you knows how to play or doesn't know how to play. It's a casino myth. It really doesn't. And I believed this for a long time. And like as a dealer, I thought this was true, but it's really not. It's a myth. Somebody could be playing really stupid or somebody could be playing perfectly. It doesn't affect you at all. It really doesn't affect you at all. So I really don't care. But if you play slow or you don't know what you do or you hold up the game, or there was this one player who used to like, she was this old lady like, oh yeah, my magic $6. And it's like, really? The magic $6 on top of your bet, bitch? And it just slowed the game up because like every other hand, oh, can you color up these 4 green? And then can you check? It was like every hand was just something. And that shit pisses me off because it just slows the game down. Keep in mind, I'm a very experienced player, so I just, and also I'm not, when I play, I'm not trying to make friends on the blackjack table. So, yeah. Anyway, sorry for my rant. Funky, that's my favorite quote in the movie. The Underground Casino is the best part. I kind of want to watch that movie now. How is it not a good thing? It's not a good thing because it's not. Okay, let me rephrase that. It's not a good thing because it shows the lack of talent on your team, but it is a good thing that you're bringing in better players. So I kind of, Enzaloni, Alex A. We'll just do that. Malifonu's been in the safety room this offseason. I think the plan is use. That's actually a really good plan. I think it's a great plan. Yeah, it is. It is a good scene. I'm going to call him Alex A. All right. Close, but if he is going to play safety, I can see us drafting corners next year. Yeah, Okuda's a guy it's really got pan out this year. Really got pan out. Pride Day, we'll call him a box safety. Seriously, I really like this guy. I really like this guy quite a bit. And I think, didn't he play as corner as a rookie? So I thought he was going to be in that room, but switching him over to safety, especially when you brought in Mike Hughes, who could be a very solid nickel. And I'm looking at our lads, and Chase Lucas is second string. I don't remember watching Lucas play. I didn't watch the whole Detroit. I didn't watch the whole Detroit Atlanta game. So anyway, not mad at it. All right, cool. I like playing Let It Ride personally. Social relaxing game. Yeah, okay. You know what? Okay, that's Funk. It's really funny to say that because that was the first game that I played was Let It Ride, and I loved it because you could bring in $100 to a Let It Ride table. You can sit there for over an hour, and you can just pound cocktails because there's no thought in the Let It Ride. They by the way, I don't know any casino that has Let It Ride. In Kansas City, it's been eliminated, but I love that game. If you're not familiar, as a dealer, we used to call it Let It Die because very few people win at that game. But my very first hand I played, I hit a full house. So that's what got me hooked, and I've lost a lot more than I won. But what I loved about Let It Ride was that you could take $100. You can play the bare minimum. You play the bonus. I always played the bonus. And you know what? I played the bonus at first, and I started playing without the bonus and just saying, screw it. If I lose, then who cares? And but I mean, I used to love drinking. That game, I like talking to other people. Okay, so one time I'm playing, and like this big old farm boy, overalls like 350, had a thing of chew, and he's playing quarters, right? And the dealer flips up. I think it was like a two of spades, and he's like, I'm gonna let it ride, and four of spades came out, and I'm sitting here and my and I mean, for me it was a shit hand, and he starts. So he had a straight flush. He's won $18,000. He bought everybody 3 rounds of drinks. And he kept on grabbing me. He got lit up. He kept on grabbing me like a rag doll. And like he's like doing this, me and you, little buddy, we're going to break the bank, me and you, little buddy. And I'm like, and he bought everybody 3 rounds of drinks. He tipped the waitress, I think $50 or something, $100. I mean, great time. It was funny. I ran into him 3 weeks later at Ameristar, a different casino. This was at Harrison and Ameristar, and he was getting kicked out. He was just lit up. So anyway, God, okay. I'm sorry. Sorry for the rant. Funk, I think he's going to be our Chancey Gardner-Johnson. Yes. Chase Lucas said, you know what? If you got seventh rounders making the camp at corner and he plays special teams, yeah, I have no problem. I have no problem saying, hey, I was wrong about the draft. No problem saying that at all. I mean, if you got 7th rounder that makes the team, you got 6th rounder who's starting, the 3rd round pick that I didn't like, he ends up starting or playing quite a bit. If he ends up with like 50 tackles and 1 or 2 picks as a third safety, I have no problem going back and saying, hey, look, I was wrong. But my initial reaction, mistake trading up in the 1st round, way overdrafting a couple players. And the thing is, though, 2 years ago, I loved your draft. I didn't like this one. I gave you guys a C-. So at a blackjack table, teaching my sister, white trash chick on the left. I hit again and got 20. Chick flips out because I took her card. I tell her, you're spending your baby's diaper money. And okay. And telling me how to play, you lost like $200 so far. Don't be mad if your kids don't eat this week. She flipped out. She flipped and got kicked off the table. Dealer was laughing his ass off. Okay. So what, I was at a table and I played with this guy before, nicest guy in the world. And the hand, it was double deck. All right. So about halfway through, he does, and it's no big deal. So the next shoe, I do this because I go to get some coffee. He comes back. I come back. He starts screaming, you need to tell me. And I said, I did. And I kind of regret doing this because, he did the same thing. But luckily the dealer's like, hey, the dealer snapped at him and dealer's like, hey, he told you, he said it out loud. And then he like, yeah, just give me a heads up. And I played with the guy like the day before, so I recognized him. He recognized me, and then he just blew up at me. And then after he left, I was like, "Yeah, man, he's drinking a lot. He's usually." And I was like, "Yeah, he's a real nice guy." Last time I played with him, super, super nice guy, like exceptionally nice, and which, to be honest, on the table, I really don't care about, but it was enough to notice. And he started screaming at me because I got some coffee. When I play blackjack, it's kind of funny. All the waitresses at Harris, there was several waitresses that would just bring me black coffee, and they're like, "Cream? No, always same thing, always." But it got to be to a point where they, and I'm sorry, I'm ranting. I'm going to wrap this up here because I'm ranting about blackjack. So. Yeah, I love the pick. By the way, I love the pick, and I'll tell you why. 1st round talent. I don't think he really fits in an odd front or a 3-4. If it doesn't pan out though, and Pascal turns out to be a guy that you're super high on, I say you, like the Lions organization, this is a type of deal where you just move on. You just move on from the guy. It wouldn't surprise me, even if you have to just get like a 5th or a 6th round pick. Moving on from a guy like that who could flourish in a 4-3. Like, for example, I'd love to have him here in Kansas City. Put him next to Chris Jones. That would be amazing. And I think that would be a good fit for him in more of a defense like Kansas City, where just shoot the gap, get your ass after the quarterback. And by the way, I mean, there may be a player Kansas City's interested in. I would love to have him on Kansas City. I'm sorry, I'm just spitting out there. But I wouldn't be too concerned, though. I think I saw something where he was banged up. You'd have to tell me, but I wouldn't be too concerned. But anyway. I hit 4 of a kind with the bonus twice in Canada back in the day. Not sure if they still have any tables here in Detroit anymore. 12 years ago, they had. It's funny. Like, a 4 of a kind. That's a nice. I never got a 4 of a kind, but I got several full houses. I know in Kansas City, they haven't had any of them in Kansas City for like the last 10 years. And when I went to Vegas, they didn't have it. I don't drink anymore, believe it or not, despite the people thinking I do a lot of cocaine, but I don't drink anymore. But when I did drink, I used to like playing 3-card poker. I would never look at the cards. I thought it was fun, It's just, and as a former dealer, I knew the odds were pretty solid, because if your 3 cards beats the dealer's 3 cards, it's a coin flip. And that's how I played. And then if I got lucky enough to hit a straight flush or 3 of a kind, I went to Vegas and like I sat down, I'm ordering drinks, and I think like my 5th hand I hit a straight flush, and of course I wasn't looking, so I had no idea. And of course, the guy, I've never hit. I never hit. You're talking about. He was just bombed. And he'd never hit one. It was funny because I hit one, and then like 20 minutes later, I hit 3 of a kind. And I mean, I'm playing, just $10. I mean, it's not like I broke the bank. I think the straight flush was like $600, and then the 3 of a kind was like 300, and it was kind of cool. I think that, I was in Vegas. I drank a lot. So like, I knew I blew a couple $100 on drinks. So anyway, yeah. Levi had back issues since college. Same problem he's dealing with right now. Yeah. I didn't think the issues were that bad. I remember he lasted the 2nd round mostly because he sat out mainly for COVID, and that kind of pushed him down in the 2nd round. But he's a guy that I definitely, if it's an injury issue, you may not be able to move him. If he doesn't fit into the defense, I would love him here in Kansas City, because I really thought he would be a perfect fit as a defensive tackle on a 4-3 type of defense. And I know that you're going to use a primarily, most teams use a primary nickel package, but he's a guy I would have liked in Kansas City. So, there's a chance you can move him. We'll have to wait and see. One of my best hands, pocket queens, flopped 4 of a kind. Dude had pocket aces, and the flop was, oh my God. So we got all in after the turn, awesome hand Dan's. It was years ago. Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay. By the way, for those of you that aren't in Kansas City, Argosie's had its poker room closed for like 10 years. The first time I actually played poker was with Tim at Argosy. We played a 3-6 limit. And both of us had dreams of being professional poker players back in the day. I haven't played poker in like 12 or 15 years. I think the last time I played poker was with Tim at that charity event. You remember that charity event, Tim? But yeah, I think that was the very last time I played poker. I don't even know if you play poker anymore. I don't think you do, but yeah, back in the day, me and Tim had aspirations of being professional poker players. I was a blackjack dealer during the poker boom. So like, there were poker rooms at every casino. You could go to every bar and play free poker. I won literally, I've won dozens of tournaments at bars, and I've made money at tournaments at casinos. I've never won a tournament at a casino. I don't think. I've cashed many times, never won, but literally there was dozens of bars that I just won in, and I think the best. There was one time, it was like the first time I was at this bar, and there was like 6 tables. It was like 20, 25 people, and I won. And most of it was luck, but I mean, like, these were some really bad players. They were some really bad players. So, I have lower back issues. Yeah, I kind of do, and I say that because it's nothing medical. It's just more of a strain. More of it also being I'll be 48 soon. But yeah, when you have lower back issues in the NFL, it is a completely different beast. Lower back issues in the NFL, completely different thing, especially if you're a lineman. I remember we had a guy by the name of Dontari Poe had back fusion surgery. We thought he was going to miss the whole season. Turned out he didn't miss a game. Never close to the same player. Like, this was a dominant game changer type of player. He had his second year in Kansas City, was one of the best defensive players I've ever seen. I mean, this guy was just dominant, crazy dominant. The Chiefs were getting very creative with him. Bad back fusion surgery, just never came back. I mean, he came back, he played like he ended up just bouncing around the NFL for like the next 10 years, where like it looked like he was going to be a superstar. He had back fusion. Yeah. And I mean, give him credit. I mean, back fusion surgery was something people thought, well, he would miss the whole year. Didn't miss a single game. Never was the same. Never was the same. If I remember correctly, you do get the Bad Beat did pay. If I remember correctly, Argosy had a rule. It was a 4 of a kind, or was it aces? You know what, Tim? Was it, now I'm thinking about is aces. I think a full house, aces and queens, queen, ace. So he had pocket aces. Yeah, he should have got paid for the Bad Beat. Ace, queens, ace, ace, king. But yeah, I forgot about that. But they still have the Bad Beats here, even though I haven't played. I know that it was funny. I used to play, and there was a couple of Asian people I'd always see, and what it was is that they were just hanging out for the Bad Beat. They folded every hand. There was a couple guys who used to do that. So I still play blackjack. I'll never play poker again. Subscribe and share, folks. Please do like my videos. Please also get a chance watch my videos that come out Monday through Friday. Come back and leave a comment. Help the algorithm, help grow the channel. Something that I would really appreciate. Thank you so much, Denver Gator. Okay, look, I'm going to wrap this up in the next couple of minutes. I'm going to talk about the other 2 teams that I'm really, really, really liking. One, I'm going to be a homer, and it's the Kansas City Chiefs. The front 7 defense is immensely faster. It's the fastest the front 7's been in the last 5 years easily. The front 7 was not a strength. And when I say strength, I'm not talking defensive line. I'm talking overall front 7. Now we got some fast, athletic linebackers. We added a couple of guys to the defensive line, and the offense does not look like it's going to miss Tyreek Hill at all. So Denver and Kansas City, a couple homer picks. And then the team that I am super impressed with this preseason, probably the number 1 team, is the Saints. And Alvin Kamara was looking at 6-game suspension. That's going to be done in 2023, it looks like. A big boost. The Blitz Predicts was very high on the New Orleans Saints. So am I. I haven't checked the over-under numbers yet, but if it's still at 8.5, jump on it. So the question a lot of people have is Jameis Winston. Well, he missed that preseason game, and Andy Dalton can lead that team to 9-10 wins easy. So they're in a really, the Saints are a team. They're really the team that I'm looking at after preseason. Number one, Kamara's not going to miss 6 games this year. That's huge. Andy Dalton can lead that team to 9 to 10 wins, and Jameis Winston, I think, would be just fine. So I'm impressed with Kansas City. I'm impressed with Denver's defense, and then I'm going to watch a lot of preseason football this weekend. I didn't get a chance to watch it this week, not nearly as much as I wanted to. So, but yeah. Okay. 4 of a kind. So they, for those of you that aren't familiar with this, if you get bad beat, and most casinos have it, aces, a full house of aces over jacks or aces over queen. Argosy used to have it at 4 of a kind. The person who lost to the bad beat used to get a portion. I think it's 10. Was it 10 or 90% of a pot? So there's a running pot for every casino. Every casino that you go to has a poker room, has a running pot. So what you do is you there's a rake. I think it's 5% that goes to the casino. Well, most of that goes into a bad beat. So when a bad beat hits, everybody on the table gets paid. The person that lost wins a percentage. The person that won gets a percentage. And I remember Argosy it was a 4 of a kind at one point, dropped the aces. I think at one point it was like aces over jacks, but it was aces, queens, and then a lot of casinos. Little poker 101. One thing I found out when I was playing was that I was not a tournament player, but I really was kind of thriving at being a cash player. The reason why I stopped was that I found out if you just play like your top 15 hands, you play every pair, ace king, ace queen suited, just fold everything else, you can always win money on cash games. This is like you will walk away a consistent winner. You may go hours before seeing one of the hands. And it got to a point, I remember I made like $500 or $1,000. I went back the next night, and after an hour of playing, I wanted to just stab myself in the eye. I was so bored, and I never played poker again. So, and my plan was to start off tight, and then as I got better, to expand my game. But it got to be to a point where I think like this happens to a lot of people. You just got burnt out. But yeah, he probably was. It's the type of hand that would send me home for a while, at least the quarter slots. Yeah. When I go, I just do sports betting and I play blackjack, and that's it. I haven't played poker. I don't have an interest in playing poker. I enjoy blackjack though. I don't play anything else. When I go to a casino, every once in a blue moon, I'll put 20 in a slot machine. I sometimes get some comps, but so anyway, I'm gonna wrap this up. By the way, everybody who joined, I can't thank you enough. I can't tell you how much fun I have coming on here Friday night talking football. It's my favorite thing in the world. Do like the video. If you're watching this and you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button. It's not going to cost you anything. It's free of charge. Hit that subscribe button. It means a lot. After the show's over, if you don't mind, drop a comment in the algorithm. Drop a comment. It really helps the channel out. Really helps me out. So I really would appreciate it. I'll be back next Friday. Funk, man, I appreciate that, brother. Funk, I know I got the Hawkinson earmarked. Boy Mafe and Alex Pierce. If you are thinking about putting action on that, let me know and I'll hit you up with some numbers. And hopefully Slasher hits you up. By the way, Slasher, if you sent it to Funk, send it to me too. And guys, I'll see you back next Friday.